Jack, what the hell is this? What are we looking at
It,
here?
this is arts and crafts time, Jeremy. If you're tuning in just the audio, a lot of this episode is not going to make sense because this is kind of like how I see prospecting or prospecting visualized, if you will. It's kind of like the marketing funnel, but applied to outbound sales. So I invite you to check this out on the video format on the Quick Mail channel or
We're still
wherever
going
books
to
are
do our
sold.
best to describe it. Right now,
Yeah,
Jack just created some circles with a lot of dots everywhere on the page.
yeah, I did. And it came back to this question like, imagine you have a gun to your head and you have to make a sale today. And if you don't, you know what happens. What do you do? And by the way, you have to use outbound in order to make this sale, right? So the guy who says, "Well, I'm gonna go to the latest directory or in the '90s example, the yellow pages and just make dials until I make a sale," they're going to die probably. If you're in any like B2B sale that takes a little bit of time or budget consideration, you die. So compare that to the individual that makes one phone call to the sales prospect that they've already spoken to 4 times and they've already gotten a verbal agreement. They pick up the call, say, "Hey, you know what? Uh, I'm checking in. I think today's a good day for it. I know you mentioned like this week what happened. Like, want to see what we can do in order to make this happen today, right?" And that person lives. And so there is a profound difference between where prospects are in relationship to you and your offer and your sphere of trust and influence and their likelihood to convert and
Mm.
enter the circles we're staring at here, Jeremy. Okay. And so I want more people to visualize their prospects like this like if you're listening just audio, just think about like a bullseye, like an archery bullseye thing that has the bullseye in the middle, followed by concentric circles expanding beyond that. Not unlike a solar system, right?
Yeah,
Where imagine at the outer edges, you see my mouse, Jeremy?
yeah.
Okay,
But
so
the people won't see it. It does look like it
whatever, it
does look
doesn't
like
matter.
yeah,
Like Pluto in this realm, I would consider them to be people that not only do not have the
problem.
pain that you
Mm.
solve, right? Don't have the problem. They also don't have the budget, right? And so like literally they're basically impossible to close absolutely on a short-term scale, but these are the folks you die if you spend all day cold calling and you can't convert them because no
Got
pain,
it.
no budget, right? Now it doesn't mean that over time they'll work their way closer in towards the bullseye, but right now they're lost cause. Forget them. Okay. Now let's go a layer in. And the next layer would be they have the pain point. They care about this topic, but they can't pay for it. So they're still very far removed. Nice to have them maybe as like, I don't know, in your universe. They'll share your content. They'll maybe like, accept your connection. They'll like be there for your stuff, but they'll never buy right now. Maybe one day they'll keep moving closer. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now let's keep going a little bit. So now in this like not quite middle area, you have people that have a pain and have a budget for this. Okay, so I'm like, great. This is now starting to feel like a place that you would want to be spending your time doing some outreach, maybe, need and budget, but it's still not good enough for a lot of campaigns. And I think, Jeremy, and I want you to like, let's pause after I say what I'm about to say and you check me on this. But I think there's a third ingredient missing, even if they have a budget and a pain. I think they have to believe in your solution to make it to this next layer.
So
And
you think
that
it's
means
trust at this time?
no, 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 nothing to do with trust yet.
Okay.
I'm saying this. Okay. So let's say you're selling SEO. Okay. You're selling SEO services and you find a company that has a big old marketing budget and you have a company that is struggling to get more lead captures from their website, right?
Mm-hmm.
You may approach them and say, let's talk SEO. They may not believe in SEO. They may have tried it in the past and gotten bad results. They may just not have search traffic in there. It just may not be a fit for them. You see what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they have to believe in the solution you offer, or else they don't come closer to this circle. Let's pause for a second.
Okay.
Like try to sell like a cold calling service to a company that just hates that idea. It won't happen, man. So I think they have to, at this point, believe in your solution, and then they become in like the middle range of your target. Any qualms there?
No, I'm thinking also of decision making. Like, would they actually, like, they are not the right person to make the decision. And so therefore they may be in your
Love
realm,
that.
but someone else is
Love
actually
that.
going to have to make the decision.
So I think, Jeremy, the right way to do this is like set up kind of this, hierarchy of criteria. So the worst one is, no budget, no pain.
Yeah, where
Followed
do you
by
even contact them?
exactly, etc. And I'm going to miss some stuff, but I still think it's like a valuable visualization and thought experiment. But let's keep going, and I'm going to grab what you just said. Decision-making power would be a great next step here. But now we enter this world where you have the buyer sitting on a budget, frustrated, dealing with the challenge you can help with, and they believe in the method that you help said challenge.
Yeah.
Now I want to start talking about the fact that they know you, right? Like if you're a total stranger to them, they remain in that middle realm. Now, if they know who you are, they come a little bit closer to dead center, right? So maybe by this point, imagine they've read your book. Imagine they've been a guest on your podcast. Imagine they bought your course. Imagine their SDR is saying like, hey, this is a great resource. We should use these templates from SalesBet or whatnot. Like now,
got it.
It is becoming this scenario where if you had a gun to your head, you could call on folks like this that maybe they've been following you on LinkedIn for a couple months. They engage with you. Like, okay, cool. Like there's a level of they know you, they like you, and they trust you. And if you have all three, in my opinion, they get even closer to dead center, right? But not bad. There's still a long ways to go. Thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm thinking like, obviously this really inform how we're going to do the prospecting, right?
Yeah.
And in how we actually, and I think it almost like blur the lines between outreach and between outbound and inbound, as in like, hey, if they downloaded one of our PDF, but they didn't, they just downloaded and went like, you know what I mean?
You're
like,
right. But what's fun, Jeremy, is you and I can sit here and just think of this through an outbound lens. And I think part 2 of this conversation is how do we nudge prospects closer to the center? All right. And just before we get into the conversation of how do we use outbound in order to get them closer to the center, making them more likely to convert, let's define what the center is as we start to get closer. So now we have people, and by the way, like all we could be referring to at this stage, Jeremy, is people in your first degree LinkedIn network. All right, great. Like I'll take it for granted. They may not know you, but at least you've been on the radar in some level. If we go a layer closer, now we're dealing with past customers, people that have bought, let's say, a book, a course, a thing from you guys. Now you're in the customer realm. And honestly, most outbound folks are ignoring the past customer list to make money on. And I'm like, come on, guys, like there's something here. And they're like still kind of just outside the bullseye.
What about, or it could be also referred by a friend, right?
Okay, so referred by a friend, those are beautiful. And like, what happens when you get on a phone call that's referred by a friend? Yeah, I know,
right? They're almost like they're sold already, which is awesome.
They're sold already. Your friend qualified them and then gave you a name. So it's funny, like I mentioned know, like, and trust, but that's not actually the steps here. You don't have to know someone in order to trust them. If your friend goes, hey, you need to talk to Jack, you don't know Jack, but you trust him already. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can skip some layers. So if we go a little bit smaller, we're dealing with like current customers, and then you might do outreach to upsell, and then you have like current repeat buyers. And this is like, again, absolutely nothing new here, but a lot of the like old school 1980s, 1990s, like direct mail copywriters knew this like the back of their hand, where they would pay quadruple the amount for a list if it gave them names of people that not only were interested in jewelry and lived in high income neighborhoods and subscribed to a jewelry magazine and bought a jewelry item. They could buy that list for people that have bought repeated purchases of that jewelry item. So now it's like fish in a barrel. If you have a gun to your head and you think about outreach like this, you're going to live, you're going to survive. So now, Jeremy, I think the fun part of this is like, let's move from theory, which I think everyone listening is nodding their head saying, yeah, I get that it's easier to sell to someone who got an inside referral or a current client, but like, how do you get people nudging closer towards the center? And I think, granted, we will talk a mix of marketing and sales here, but I think we can kill a lot of birds with just an outbound only mindset.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So, all right. Step one, you know, these people on the outside that have no budget and no need. This is the most basic form of list building there ever was.
That's your exclusion
Make
list,
sure
right?
It's not, well, it can't be an exclusion list because then you would literally, it'd be like asking, like, tell me the books you've read and the books you haven't read. Like, you can't list build everyone who's a bad fit. But what you can do is just make sure you're not adding people that don't have a budget on your list, or you're not adding like people that clearly do not have a pain point. Like if you're selling SEO services, you're probably not going to be reaching out to HubSpot.com because they kind of got that under wraps. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. That's basics and obvious, but that is the outermost layer of our sales solar system here.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Okay. So let's go one step closer here. How, like the next thing is, okay, great. How do you identify companies with a budget? Honestly, again, this is the easy one. Well,
if you ask me, I'll be looking at the number of people they have in their company, really.
I think that's a big one. Yeah. So, you know, if you're in the startup world, it might be funding amount. If you're selling like a lot of cyber security services,
that's clever.
They spend time like looking to see how many people are in their IT department for their IT spend. Right.
Yep.
So whatever, like, all right, great. Good for us. We've identified like companies with some people now, but it's important to know we got one step closer. Okay. And so now this is my favorite part, Jeremy. How do you find people with a pain point now that you've known that they have a budget?
Oh, that's
There's no one answer here.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But so this is where like mining recent job posts come up where they're talking about, we're looking for this person who can help create a customer education program for our company. Like that's a red flag that like, hey, we have this thing that we're trying to solve. And it's the tip of the iceberg, but like you can keep going. You can see you could see, are they running Google ads? You go to Google Ad Transparency Center. You can see, did they get hacked? Like is one of their company email addresses on haveibeenpwned.com? Like this is where I think, seriously, Jeremy, I think this is a separation between freelancers and legitimate, great outreach agencies, is they will make this connection where I think there's such a temptation to stop here and just like use volume in order to cover up the fact that you're not sure if they need you. But I think the good agencies are doing this. The ones with more success are, right? Now, let's actually go to like something we can do with outbound, Jeremy. There's a couple levers we can pull here, but when it comes to like moving people closer to the center, remember like the bullseye point is buy now, essentially. One thing that you can do to nudge people closer is share that Loom video that you recorded for them that kind of shares how similar fintech companies have addressed this challenge. You know, I recorded it, it's 2 minutes. If you really were, you know, focused on resolving X, like at least this is one option you may not have considered. Okay. And so maybe you'll get 8% of them to watch that 2-minute Loom video of you teaching them something. They've just gotten one ring closer just through outbound. Ditto for like building a campaign where a lot of people are sharing like a newsletter on LinkedIn, or God forbid you use your email subscriber opt-ins to vet who your best leads are this week.
Yeah.
That's a thing, but like as outbounders, like maybe we're not thinking enough like marketers sometimes. What am I missing here, Jeremy? Like I want to make sure this is actionable.
No, I think you're definitely spot on. I'm thinking, my wheels are turning, and I'm thinking, what about like conferences, like someone who basically signal I'm interested in that topic. So if someone goes to the SEO conferences, you could even like, if you manage to get the list, and sometimes you can by just paying, of course. Well, you can do a lot of things by just paying. But if you got the list, you could also say like, hey, it seems like you and I are going to go to this conference. Hey, I did a small 2-minute video about this topic specifically. Wanted to check with you if this is, something that resonates or whatever, right? And then just sort of like pre-warn them on the topic they're already interested in and they're going to attend.
And again, like, does that win you the sale today? No, but
no.
I know that they get closer to that bullseye. And I think like sharing case studies that walk through the process, how a client similar to them got great results. That's of the same vein. You're kind of using outbound to share content that's going to build up your trust, your credibility. So let's think of the levers we can pull, Jeremy. We can reduce the call to action so that it's like, hey, watch a 2-minute Loom video. I'm not asking for you for a 30-minute demo. Just like, let me show you, one solution, right? So dumbing down the CTA so it's easier will bring people closer. Ditto for increasing the offer. So it's like, look, I'm going to, look, I'm not going to do this, but imagine, Jeremy, that I had a sales brand campaign that was active. That's like, hey, we crush it for fintech companies that are doing, AML solutions, selling to banks like that. I don't know why, but we have a knack for it. This case study, back it up. But look, don't take my word for it. Let me just write up copy. I already know these 3 value props. So you guys, I'm gonna send you just 2 messages. You could test it out if you want and never talk to me again. But if it impresses you, let's have a chat. But can I send them to you? I'll write it from scratch. No AI, whatever. And like now the offer's up high enough where it's going to be a little bit harder for that person to ignore, to say like no to that kind of thing. And will they buy that day? No, but they get close to the center. I think that's the work to be involved when it comes to turning like cold prospects. And I'm like, literally, I wish this was color coded, Jeremy, from blue meaning ice cold to red meaning red hot. And the further from the center, the bluer they are, and the redder they are, the closer to the center. And so what's really fun, outbounders, is you get to decide based on the temperature of the prospect what goods you're going to be offering them. What, like, how can you make it like they feel like, borrowing Alex Ramosi, they feel stupid for not taking you up on it. So we have like lower the CTA, increase the offer. The next thing is just like, I hate to say it because it sounds very like touchy-feely markety, but getting these people that are in the outer rings to just follow your company, your profile, connect with you on LinkedIn. That's one small degree closer to the center, where in 30 days, if they've learned something from 1 or 2 of your posts, you stand a better chance to get them. Like they're literally closer to the center, maybe a little bit, but they are closer to the center. And it's a matter of you deciding what activities need to happen so that you're continuing to nudge like cold blue to red using, better offer, maybe micro steps in a sales thing. Like I know a lot of campaigns that they like and comment on and when you use bots, it blows up. But like I have clients that pay someone to sit on LinkedIn and engage with their prospective clients. And then we reach out to them in a month. And then we have an easier time, Jeremy. It's like,
yeah. I'm thinking like, I think it's probably not like a bullseye type of approach. It's more like a black hole type of approach.
Yes.
And then you're trying to
absolutely
just like grab them, slowly. And then the other thing that, because I had at the very beginning when you were talking about those different circles, I was thinking of like, what about the people who are not problem aware? They don't know that this is a problem and that can come and hit them, right? For example, like, hey,
I don't
Jack,
think any of your marketing would work on them.
I would tend to disagree. Like, let's say, for example, you're living in a place. Well, here's a typical example. I didn't know about radon. Do you know what radon is?
Yeah, isn't that the that toxin that's in the air?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's a gas toxic that
the
actually
silent
comes from.
killer.
Yeah, exactly, right. And it's a second cause of death, by like cancer
Yeah,
of
yeah.
pulmonary cancer, right?
My
You're not
my
problem
Office
aware.
fans would probably chuckle. There's a Radon episode that Toby's talking about the silent killer, and Michael makes a fart sound with his hand. So
Okay,
yeah, I'm well aware with Radon,
but
Jeremy.
I wasn't aware of it, right? But when I became
Okay,
aware of it, I'm like, oh shit, maybe I need something to actually measure radon. And that, brought me into that ecosystem about air quality monitoring.
okay.
And so
So
that's what
then
I
to
mean
that, I would say
by
then
not
there's
problem
like
aware.
sub levels within problem awareness. So
Mhm.
I think what you've just described is like someone who actually has a problem, they just didn't know it. Whereas
Yeah,
I'm saying
exactly.
if you're HubSpot, you don't have an SEO problem. Flat out,
Right.
you don't. Right. So there's maybe like um, here is the person who truly does not have a problem. Like they live in a igloo. There's no radon. Then there's a
Yeah,
second person
that's
who
right.
doesn't know about radon, but they live in a radon factory. And then the
Exactly.
third person like knows about it and struggles with it. So
There you go.
um,
There you go. I think it's well
so
said. But
I
again, it's
believe
the
that's
same idea. It's the black hole stuff. Like you may be aware of it and you're not attracted because you don't have this problem. But if you do, it's
right,
like, ooh, you get sucked into this like, rabbit hole, which we
right.
do. Like, like for example, health and stuff like that. That's definitely a rabbit hole and
It
people
can
just go in it, right?
right. And just like the black hole metaphor, like it would be
That's right.
the clients that really love the service. They keep coming back. They're your best
Hmm.
champions,
And then
etc.
they
Now,
tell other people, and then there you go. You got your
yeah.
stuff attracting everyone.
So imagine, all right, we're still in an outbound mindset. I want to bring cold prospects closer to the center. Um, you talk about it often, Jeremy, where you use a video in your signature in your
Yep,
cold email that has glowing client reviews.
that's right.
It's a trust signal where now they've gone from, maybe they still don't know you, Jeremy, but
Hmm.
now even just the fact that you have, like, I think on my signature it says like, click here to see over 100 client glowing client recommendations, something on LinkedIn. Just the like maybe a quarter of the people click, but just reading
Yep.
that is slightly a trust signal that brings them closer, right? Makes it a little easier for me and someone who's taking advantage of this to nudge them to the bullseye. Um,
Yeah, makes total sense to me.
okay, so now what?
I like the analogy.
I think Jeremy, when we design an outbound campaign, we need to think of this sales solar system a bit more. We need to think, okay, great. Like today, where are we going to really like go after? I think honestly, I would go from an inside out perspective. Like if you feel like you haven't revisited your past clients in 2 years, all right, fish in a barrel, go say hi to them. You owe it to them and yourself just to check in. And 1 out of 10 are
Does
going to say,
work.
you know what, I have a new opportunity. Okay, and that's the action item. Finally, oh my gosh, like just start from the inside and work your way out bigger and bigger until you feel like you've done a great job with all the layers of your ecosystem. And then you can yell to marketing to start to get them towards a center on what they're working on. So that's, your outbound is going to benefit from everything they've done. How's that for a
That
go do
sounds
this
good.
now?
I will probably add as an action point is as you go further and further away, think and you're hitting different layers. Think about like, hey, for this layer, how can I bring them closer? Maybe just one layer. Not try to close them straight away, but trying to actually just bring them closer and closer to the center. So for example, your first one, you could say like, your past client, you could say like, hey, we have a promotion this month about like re-engaging existing clients for like 50% for the first 3 months. You're
Yeah,
interested or not, right? It's like maybe
there
that's the
you go.
right time. For the one a little bit, after, maybe they had a demo with you, but they didn't quite convert. You can say like, hey, we're trying to close this quota, or we're trying to close a quota this quarter.
Yeah,
We are allowed to have like a 20% discount. Like, are you actually in? Like, would that make
yeah,
sense to actually start earlier this engagement or like start again? And then you
right.
keep on going like that. And for the other one, it's just like, just like a video or stuff like, hey, You and I just attended this conference. This is my 20 texts from this conference. If you're interested, like let me
Nice.
share it with you.
See, I'm way more leaning towards the value add as opposed to the price reduction side. But
Mm,
honestly, I think the thing is you're not reaching out enough to people very close to your bullseye, to
yeah.
your black hole here.
Plus, it's probably different
And
tools depending on where they are in the layer, right? For one, it
no
will be a
doubt,
video. For the other one, it will be like, a
a
coupon or
flight to
whatever, right?
Boston.
There you go.
Exactly right. And so it's kind of like mapping out your prospects and prioritizing your campaigns accordingly. But I really do like the gun to your head metaphor because I think like outbound sales spends too much time on the fringes of this map. Like, yeah,
Mm,
you can win these deals for sure, and it's fun to do that, but it's harder to do that than it is to win the medium inside deals.
yeah.
The orange deals, if you will.
Sometimes sales is boring, and but that's what works, right?
You mean to say like selling to past
I
customers
mean, yeah,
is
exactly. It's just
less creative?
repeated thing, right? Instead of trying to,
Yeah,
oh, am I going to get like, well, you could just get this one. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah,
that's
but no, I've done
fine.
that like too many times. It's like it's too easy,
Yeah,
type of thing. But anyway,
it's like you know
anyway.
what's never boring, Jeremy, is closing a sale. At least for me, I've never gotten over it yet. Uh,
That's true.
and yet, so let's do more what works. And thanks for indulging me on this uh, first whiteboard session.
That's true. I'm not even sure how the episode will record it because we left the whiteboard session for the whole thing. So we'll see. Maybe, maybe our YouTube listener will just have the video of one page. I don't know.
Let's see how it goes. If you lose the video, you can what's the best way to do this? Go to salesbread.com/contact and ask for the visual. I'll mail to you. You can do the same over at quickmail.com.
Nah, we won't mail
And
it to you.
all right, fine. Yeah. If you want to go drop me a note, I will email. In fact, let me take a screenshot of this and I'll see you then. And yeah, if you're looking for the platform to do your own outbound sending, whether it's cold email, LinkedIn messages, or just aiming for the best deliverability, that's quickmail.com. If you want to lead a day, that's salesbread.com. And Jeremy, thanks for the deep dive.
Awesome. Well, Jack, you're always, amazing when it comes to prospecting. I feel really gifted to be able to hear all those good nuggets. So thank you for that.
I'm honored to hear it, man. All right, catch you next time.
Later.